downfall would be the amount of time, and assigning maybe a point person here at the township that could help all of us walk through it. And but I believe that if we even just pass that resolution, essentially, I would contact my people that I've gotten to know as Sustainable PA, and they'd pretty much get us registered and get the ball rolling. So, any questions?
So you said thorough and questions and a point person a couple times. How much time does it really take to complete the questionnaire and to do this? Well, how much, what are you asking for from the township?
So honestly, I don't know, because I can only look at a certain amount without having a, like a password, without having an account yet with them. I can only see a certain number of questions. But what, Stephen, I don't know if you have any opinion on this as well. I would think one of the things that we talked about, you know, because I asked what would be helpful, and it would be like assigning a point person that would be willing to, you can kind of go through, answer everything that you can, and then there's going to be certain questions where it's going to be like, you know, Basker, like, can you answer a couple of these questions? Do you know the answer to this? Julie, do you know a couple, you know, and then just kind of asking a variety of people if they might know the answer. It could take 5 hours, it could take 15 hours. I think it's really going to depend on kind of who's in the office and top of knowledge of how to answer the questions right off the bat.
Any other board comments or questions?
And it doesn't need to be done in one sitting, just FYI.
No, that was super helpful. So it's one person a week, basically, is sort of the way to think about it.
Yeah, exactly. And then maybe it might be the point person, you know, is in charge of being like, oh, okay, these are 5 questions I can go ask so-and-so. So I'm going to go take them, ask them, write down the answers, and then go back and fill it out. And I can, you know, so I think it's kind of a, have a point person, but divide and conquer type of questionnaire.
Well, thank you so much. Really great information, and thanks for digging into it and getting us the information we need to understand the process.
Thank you.
Any public comments or questions? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, now we are going to move to the motion to approve the sale of used equipment through Municipid. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. I have a list of 14 items, everything from vehicles to miscellaneous equipment. From time to time, we have spare equipment, and it gets auctioned off on Municipid.
All right, thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any board comment? Any public comment? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have a motion to appoint Aaron McPherson as the Tredyffrin Township voting representative to the PSATS annual conference. Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. PSATS held its annual conference in May, and we usually have someone representing Tredyffrin, and as part of that, in order to be a voting member, as the group makes recommendations for the entire PSAT organization, we need to appoint an official voting member status. This year, Erin's going to be attending on our behalf for staff, so we were requesting that you authorize her to serve as our voting representative. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any board comment? Any public comment? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have a motion to adopt Resolution 2023-13 proclaiming April 23rd through 29th, 2023 as National Libraries Week. Basker.
So moved.
I thought you were, okay, do we have a motion? So moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, I will now hand it over to Basker.
Thank you. Sorry about that. The American Library Association has designated April 23rd through the 29th as National Libraries Week. And we have a proclamation here, and I will spare you by not reading it out aloud, but it's here. We have a proclamation, but I do want to add a few words of my own. A couple of the special days, a couple of the days next week have been called out by the American Libraries Association as special days. Monday, April 24th is the Right to Read Day. And this is a time when there are record-shattering attempts, not just in our country, but in a number of other countries around the world, to remove books from libraries. And I want you to know that the Tredyffrin Public Library procures materials based on our readers' interests and our users' interess, without regard to attempts to censor reading. I did check. We have Fahrenheit 451 in our collection, and we don't plan to do any book burning in Tredyffrin. So National Right to Read Day is an important day for our libraries because there are increasing attempts to censor what other people read. Tuesday, April 25th is designated as National Library Workers' Day. And we're proud of our professional and dedicated library staff and the creativity in navigating us through the challenges of the pandemic. I think for many of us, people like me who work in offices and who create software with the finest bugs, we can kind of work at home. But the library staff are among those who, need to have a little bit more interaction with the public and potentially, being exposed. I really appreciate all that they went through. And so Tuesday is designated as National Library Workers' Day. There are a couple of other days next week that are dedicated to specific goals, but these are the ones that stood out to me. I also want to express my personal appreciation to the library staff, the Library Board of Trustees. They put a lot of time and effort into what they do. The Library Foundation, without the fundraising attempts of the Library Foundation, the library wouldn't exist. The Friends of Tredyffrin Public Library, I think that's a very important organization that contributes to the success of the library. The recently organized Friends of Paoli Library and numerous community organizations and volunteers who together make our library strong. The Tredyffrin Public Libraries are something that makes Tredyffrin special, and I'm happy and proud to be a liaison to the Library Board of Trustees. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhaskar. Do we have any board comments or any public comments? All right, we will move to the vote, which is a roll call vote. Supervisor Miller.
Aye.
Supervisor Humble.
Aye.
Supervisor Holt.
Aye.
Supervisor Wysocki.
Aye.
Supervisor Freed.
Aye.
Supervisor Bhaskar.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion carries. Next, we will move to a motion to authorize the engineering department staff to advertise and receive bids for the Krabby Creek Stormwater Retrofit Project. Projects to be located on the Williams Lane and Beechwood Road portions of the Krabby Creek watershed. Mr. Burgo.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this project will be number 5 and number 6 of these Krabby Creek stormwater infiltration projects. The township has been working with the Valley Creek Restoration Partnership for a number of years for these infiltration projects in the upper Krabby Creek watershed. This is identified in the 2023 budget. There's $300,000 that's identified. It is grant-related money for these projects. The Valley Creek Restoration Partnership has done the design work, and then the township is partnering with them because these are in the township road and or right-of-way. We will be overseeing the construction, the bidding, advertising, and construction of these projects. So at this point, we're finalizing the plans and the bid package, and we'd be advertising those within about a month's time frame. We'll advertise and bid those, and then hopefully start construction later this summer.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any board comment?
I had a question. Mr. Burgo, is this, earlier the EAC was talking about the salinity of Krabby Creek. Is this part to help fix that, or is this separate from that?
It's kind of separate from that, but I mean, it is capturing and reducing the stormwater volume that will be going on the road, so it will capture and reduce some pollutant load as well.
Thank you.
Any other board comments? Any public comments? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have a motion to authorize the engineering department staff to work with Michael Baker International for Glen Hardy Road North Emergency Bridge Replacement Project. Mr. Burgo.
Madam Chair, members of the board, as the board is aware, on April 4th, we had Michael Baker International, our township bridge engineer, work with us to do an inspection of the Glen Hardy Road North Bridge. It's the one that's over Trout Creek, closest to the intersection of Richards Road. We did find some structural issues with that bridge, which necessitated closing half a lane width of the structure and reducing the capacity, the weight carrying capacity of the structure as well. And at this point, we're asking the board for permission to work with Michael Baker to start the process for design on a new structure. And we also are evaluating potential temporary repair solutions and cost as well, just to kind of bridge the gap, because this is going to be a little bit of a longer involved process. We have to do design, hydrologic and hydraulic analysis of this because it's in the lower part of Trout Creek, a lot of flooding, and we need permits from DEP, so it will take some time for the permanent replacement project, but we're looking at that. At this point, we just want to start that process. We are expecting a proposal from Michael Baker, which we would have before you at the May meeting.
All right, thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any board comment? Any public comment? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have a motion to authorize the township solicitor to work with township staff on an ordinance to prohibit parking on Continental Boulevard. Mr. Duraco.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Township staff and the solicitor have been going back and forth with the abutting commercial properties, specifically on the ownership of Continental Boulevard. If you're not familiar, it's a small stretch of road over by Vanguard, right against the line with Willistown. It hasn't been clear on who owns Continental Boulevard. The solicitors pointed out that it is a township road, but we've had some issues, and therefore one of the issues was parking of commercial trucks on the road, and so we want to move to prevent that in the future and allow the police, if need be, to enforce action against them. Happy to answer any other questions as a solicitor.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second? Any board comment? Any public comment? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Now we move to the motion to approve Preservation Design Partnership LLC as the Township Strategic Preservation Plan Consultant. Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In your packets is a memo from Robert Emanuel, our Planning and GIS Administrator from the Planning and Zoning Department. As you may recall, we received a grant from the Pennsylvania Historic Preservation Office for Phase 1 of a multi-phase preservation program for an amount of $10,000. The Township has also agreed to supply matching funds in the amount of $7,500 for a total budget of $17,500. Proposals went out to about 10 different firms, and the recommendation is to move forward with a proposal from Preservation Design Partnership LLC based in Philadelphia, and we're requesting authorization to engage that firm. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second? All right. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any board comments? Do we have any public comments?
Good evening, all. Rob Williams, 226 West Valley Road, and Chair of the Historical Commission. I seek your approval for this move going forward because this is a very important project, probably our principal project within the Commission. We've been working 2 years to get to this point where we get the right funds and the right group to support us. It's been 12 years since we last reviewed our historic preservation code, and I'm particularly pleased with the selection of PDP as the choice. In looking at their prior work, they did an outstanding job for St. Augustine, Florida, with the preservation plan there. It's very much like the materials that we're looking for, as a result from their work. And the urgency is now, since I briefed you back in February, we've had at least one 1850 building demolished. We've had a demolition permit issued for another historic structure since then. And Mark Dixon on our commission has done a survey of our 356 properties that were done in 2003, and more properties are missing than we thought. So there's an urgency to move this ahead. We have an advisory council set up. It's very much like what you all did with the comprehensive plan back in 2010, and we stand ready to move quickly after your approval and seek that. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments? All right, we will move to the vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Now we will move to the motion to authorize staff to advertise a public hearing on May 22nd, 2023 to consider and possibly adopt Resolution 2023-14, approving the intermunicipal transfer of a liquor license into Tredyffrin Township from Mendenhall, Pennsylvania for Takumi Cop Inc., 821 Lancaster Avenue in Devon. Ms. McPherson.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. I think the motion speaks for itself. We're looking to set up the public hearing, which is required as part of the intermunicipal transfer.
All right, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any board comment? Any public comment? All right, hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have a motion to award the 2023 Super Pave bid. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Staff is requesting board approval for the 2023 Super Pave project. Bids were properly posted and advertised. We utilized Penn Bid for the bidding process, and on March 30th, 2023, at 9 a.m., the bids were open in a community room at the Township building. The bids are listed below. The difference between the two lowest bids was less than $3,000, so I feel we got a pretty good deal. We are recommending the lowest bid from Glasgow for $1,068,019.60. We have used Glasgow many times in the past for Super Pave, and they always provided a high quality of work.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any board comment? Any public comment? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have a motion to approve capital purchase of a rapid assessment tool for the sewer department. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Staff is requesting board approval to buy a rapid assessment tool for the sewer department. This tool will allow the sewer department to do a quick evaluation of the sanitary lines by the use of sound waves. This tool was used during the Lancaster Sewer Basin project that was performed by Dukes. We went back to the areas where this tool was used and confirmed that it properly identified the lines with defects in them. This will allow us to concentrate on lines that need immediate attention while not having to CCTV the entire area. The cost of this tool through CoStars is $29,010, which includes the training, and that'll be from InfoSource.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. All right. Any board comments? Any public comment? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have a motion to authorize staff to advertise and receive bids for court resurfacing in Wilson Farm Park. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Staff is requesting board approval for the request of the milling and resurfacing of the basketball courts at Wilson Farm Park. This will be one of the last basketball courts that will need to be resurfaced in our park system. This project was included in a 2023 budget.
Thank you. Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Any board comments? Any public comment? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have a motion to authorize capital purchase of zero-turn mower for Public Works. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board. Staff is requesting board approval for the purchase of a new zero-turn mower. This mower is to replace the mower that was ordered last year and not received. With the supply chain issues with the smaller diesel motors, we've contacted numerous dealers and are having difficulty, receiving inventory. The mower from last year might be here this summer with a $4,000 price increase. We were able to find a diesel mower through Berwyn Mower for $18,239.20. I'd like permission to proceed with this purchase.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any board comment? Any public?
Yeah, I have a question, which is, I understand this mower is a little bit smaller than what we originally planned to purchase. I'm just wondering how much additional time it's going to take to, to mow a certain area, an acre or so.
We looked at the options of what we had, and that's about the only mower we could find with a deck that was even close. So the 61-inch deck was as close as we could find. It was 72. Is it going to take a little bit more time? Yes, it is, but we're currently short a couple mowers now between breakdowns and waiting for our inventory for the one for this year. So currently we're down 3 mowers, so we figure we better get something to start mowing the parks.
Thank you.
Any other board questions or comments? Any public comment? All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have a motion to authorize proposal from S. Slaughter Roofing for Public Works Salt Storage Building. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board. Staff is requesting approval for a new roof on the salt storage building at Public Works, which currently has numerous leaks. We invested replacing the roof with a metal roof, but since the roof is already on plywood, unlike the other roofs in Public Works, to save money, we are recommending the metal roof be replaced with a 30-year shingled roof. We solicited 3 bids, which are listed below, and we recommend the lowest bidder, S. Slaughter of Devon, to do the work for $15,400. The township has been using Slaughter for years for the services, and I've always had positive experiences. The only additional fee would be, they will be using, like I said, the 30-year shingle. The plywood replacement, if needed, is an additional charge of $90 per sheet installed.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second? Any board questions or comments? Any public comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Now we move to new matters. Do we have any board member new matters tonight? All right, do we have any citizen new matters tonight? All right, our next meeting is scheduled for May 22nd, 2023. Please note that this is a week later than normal due to the Pennsylvania primary elections. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Have a great night, everybody.